Okay, so today is Sunday, February 28th, 2021. So 2/28/21. I got a message from Desperado, my friend Victor Stevens. He would like to say Victorio Stevens, to give to his brother Sleepy Black, or Jarmel. I think it's Jarmel Reynolds or something like that, but I don't know. He was just, I guess, basic. I didn't really get much sleep last night, so I want to go back to sleep as soon as possible, but I had to get this message recorded. So yeah, Desperado was just like, you need to, like, over and over last night, honestly. Probably like at least five times. He was like, so you have to go tell Sleepy Black, you have to go tell Sleepy about the rapture. You have to tell him about the rapture. And I don't know. Last time I seen Sleepy, he came at me pretty messed up. So I don't really deal with him, but I do what the Lord tell me, and I figure, the Lord is the orchestrator. So he's behind the dream allowed Desperado to come and talk to me in the dream. And I don't know, I've probably seen Desby a couple times since he passed away. I know I've seen him once after he passed away, when me and his brother got into it, and it got pretty bad, actually. I got so angry, I wanted to go and confront him, and Desby popped up in my dream. He didn't say nothing, actually. Even though I know there's a telepathy too that goes on, he wasn't even telepathically communicating to me. He just gave me a look, and I was so mad still about the whole situation with his brother, that when I seen Desby and he was just looking at me in a dream, I was mad too, because I was so mad that I wanted to confront his brother. And then when Desby popped up in a dream, giving me the look, and it was a look like the you know better type of look, and that's what made me even more mad. You know what I mean? Because for me, it's like my life story, that people do things and they come at me sideways, or they come at me in a disrespectful way, and I let so many things slide. But there is a point with me, and when people cross that line, it's hammer time. You know what I mean? And that's why I got mad, because there is times where, in my mind, that action needs to be took, And I know the Lord works the same way, but because I know the word better now, I know that it's the Lord's job to handle those situations. So, although I know that some action needs to be took, that's not my place. And that's what's the hardest thing, because sometimes I hate waiting on the Lord, because he's way more patient than I am. And I just feel like, just with humanity in general, I know, and the Lord knows, that action is what makes humanity get back on track. You know what I mean? And I've been like that my whole life. Like, for instance, some white guy cut me off on the freeway, pretty bad, to where if I didn't have the reflexes to like pull off on the side of the freeway, it would have caused like a major accident, like a major pileup, just by this one dude's selfish action. He could have caused a major pileup, and he would have got away. He would have got off the exit. He did get off the exit, but by him doing that, it would have caused a major accident. If I didn't pull off, we would have collided, and cars behind me would have collided. It would have been a bad deal. For somebody could have died. And it made me so mad that I followed this dude. Like, I sped up and followed him. And I followed him to like 3 or 4 different locations, to where I seen the fear in his eyes. You know what I mean? And he tried to lose me multiple times, but he just couldn't shake me. And I made it a point, you know, especially after the first location. I don't think he was really aware that I was following him, but I made it known to him, you're not gonna get away with these types of actions. And I've always been that type of person. Like, you know, I'm going to make it known, like, you're not going to get away with treating people this way. Like, I'm not the one. And that's just a classic. It's classic, like, and I guess in the hood, in bad neighborhoods or bad areas, that you run into people like me that you know will make it known, like, you messed up today. You crossed the wrong person today, and you're going to pay for it. And you know, that type of mentality contributes to all the bad things that are going on in the world, even though it's a righteous anger and there's a righteous cause behind it, because you're trying to correct an idiot. You're trying to correct the stupidity of a person. You can't fight fire with fire, you know. And that's just been like a very hard lesson for me to learn in life, because every single day, multiple times a day, I am faced with these situations all day long, every day. And the hardest thing is to retreat and to let go and let God. That's just been like one of the hardest lessons for me. So anyway, you know, there was so many times last night that Desperado just kept popping up. Like, I'm like, man, I want to sleep. Like, I always be saying things like, God, I need some sleep. Like, I do as much as I can do during the daytime. And it's just like God's just telling me, like, the laborers are few. The laborers are few. You know, like, I don't have a lot of workers. And it's almost like I feel like God's like, you know, I'm sorry that I'm giving you all this work to do, but I don't have anybody else. I don't got anybody that's out here putting in the work, and I'm giving you extra stamina and endurance and strength so that you can handle this workload. So I just need you to do it. So I'm just like, all right. But I am going back to sleep after this. So I don't know. Yeah. So last night, every time I was getting confronted by Daspy, I'm like, bro, leave me alone. I'm not going to go talk to him. I don't want to deal with that dude. He was extremely disrespectful, and we're going to fight. Like, I'm not going to physically go there. And he's like, no, we're going to just set it up in the dream realm, you know, like, so I do a lot of work in the dream realm. It's just because God could just put me with certain people, and so I could just get the message to them. And it's kind of cool. I mean, I guess, you know, that God is letting us have an active role in this whole, whatever this is, this whole experience or reality or simulation or whatever, so it makes sense, like, even at the Bema Seat judgment, where I don't want to say judgment, but when you sit down, because there's no condemnation when you're in Christ, because we try to keep short accounts with the Lord and always ask for forgiveness and repent and just acknowledge where we went wrong in a day with the Lord, and He's faithful to forgive us. But I know, that we're going to have that talk, and I'm sure it's going to be fine, because God knows how to speak to us perfectly, to where I guess we won't feel super shameful or ashamed or have that shame face, but we will be aware of where we dropped the ball, where we fell short. And I'm not really looking forward to it, to be honest with you, because I know I'm a loser and a piece of crap, and I'm filth, and I'm like the dirt at the bottom of the shoe. Like, I've been made very aware of how much I've been hated and insignificant in this life, and I'm trying to just get away from people that make me feel that way. And of course, there's no getting away from God, and having to acknowledge all the errors of your wrong ways. So anyways, multiple times I tried to shake Despy in a dream world, and was just trying to be like, once I came to the realization that I was in this setting or in this scenario where I had to talk to Sleepy, I was like, I'm gone. I'm not doing this. That's y'all job, So the scenario got set up finally to where I invited Sleepy to come over and hang out at my apartment. And I guess his whole thing was he was playing video games, and while playing video games, he was on the internet talking. At first, it was like he was talking to a girl, probably on the phone, like speakerphone, or through like instant messenger or video chat. And then he was also talking to people on the internet through the video game. So he was multitasking, I guess, So he was like interacting with people online, playing the video game, and then he was still maintaining a conversation with a female. And I guess it got set up to where I invited him to come over. And since it was last night, my timing was like, it was late night, And the energy was cool. There was like no negative energy or hard feelings. It was the same type of energy when we was friends. And I think I was trying to get him to come over, and he came over or whatever, and I know that he was smoking, so I know that drugs was involved, like weed or whatever. And I think at some point he wanted me to come over and bring my video game system over. And then there was a part of me where, like, man, I need to put my initials on my game consoles in case he tried to switch something out or do something sneaky. I don't know why. I'm just describing this dream to y'all. But ultimately, all that was just the surface, because I was trying to get to a point to where I could start talking to him about the rapture, And I remember when Desperado was still alive, we was taking Sleepy, we was dropping him off over on the west side somewhere. And God gave me and Desperado both a vision at the same exact time of Sleepy getting shot. And this is way before he got shot, because when he finally did get shot, I think Desperado had already passed away. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I think Despy had already passed away. Because one of Sleepy's friends bought something off me on like the internet or something like that. And when I had sold this, whatever it was to him, it was probably something on like Facebook Marketplace or OfferUp or Let Go or some type of app like that. I didn't even know that was Sleepy's people. And when I met up with him, he was like, yeah, man, Sleepy got shot. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, where'd he get shot at? And he told me where he got shot at, which was, I guess, kind of embarrassing for Sleepy. But for me, it just clicked in my head like, dang, that's the vision that me and Despy had, that he was going to get shot. You know, we didn't know where he was going to get shot or nothing like that, but we both had the vision that he was going to get shot for, I don't know, doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing, being somewhere he wasn't supposed to be. And so we had that vision like years and years ago, like years and years before that incident took place, you know. So it just shows you how accurate the Lord is with, you know, just being God. And I don't know, it's just deep, man. It's just deep. I mean, and I was even thinking about this, you know, when I was waking up, like, man, he must even knew that guy was going to shoot Sleepy way before that guy was going to shoot him. Way before the guy even knew that he was going to shoot him. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I wonder what's going to happen to that guy. Like, is that guy going to hell? And so I don't know. You know how our mind is. Jesus says we're like little trees. You just start thinking about one thing and it branches off to 50 million other things. But anyway, I don't know. I remember I was working in the funeral industry at this time. So I know he told me the hospital Sleepy was at was actually right next to the funeral home that I worked at. So I was thinking, like, man, if I had to go pick up a body tonight or whatever, because I usually go to that hospital to pick up bodies, you know, and bring them to the funeral home. So I was like, man, if I get a call there tonight or in the next couple of nights, I'm going to try to go talk to Sleepy. But I had to wear a suit for my job, you know what I mean? So I did go over there one night, and I'm sure the nurse, you know, I went to go like, yeah, I'm here to see Jarmel or whatever. And she's like, does he know you're coming? And I'm like, nah, I'm just a friend of his or whatever. And this is when we were still kind of not really on talking terms, because I beat up his cousin. I beat up his cousin because his cousin was disrespecting Sleepy, you know, like he had just got out of prison. Me and this other dude went over to Sleepy's to buy some beats, some instrumentals off of Sleepy, because Sleepy makes beats. And his cousin had just got out of prison, and his cousin was like messing with Sleepy. He was like picking him up and roughhousing him, and I could tell Sleepy didn't like that. Sleepy's a big dude, probably could have really hurt him, but he's got a gentle heart, you know. And it was getting to the point where it was starting to bother our business, because I was just there to buy some beats and go. And this dude was just acting retarded. So, I mean, he just got out of prison, was probably drunk, and he kept picking Sleepy up from behind, and it was like he was like humping him, like dry humping him, and I don't know, it was just weird, you know. And I don't know, I guess there's another story behind that some of his friends in that neighborhood told me about later, to why it really made Sleepy mad on a deeper level. I didn't know none of that at the time. I just knew that this dude was bothering my friend, and my friend didn't like it, and I told the dude to stop, And that dude got all of his attention focused on me at that point. Like, who is you? You know, this is my cousin. I could, you know, da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, look, bro, we just here to do some business, and I'm just trying to get this business done and go, and then you just do whatever. And that dude went outside and got like 15 other dudes, and they tried to call me outside, and when I started to walk out the door, they started trying to go in my pockets, like they was trying to rob me. So I'm like, man, what's going on with all this? You know what I mean? So I came back inside, and they didn't let all them dudes in, but that dude came back in, and when he came in, pieced him up real quick, you know what I mean? I think I broke his jaw, or dislocated his jaw or something is what they told me, because he couldn't talk for like a week or something. I don't know. But anyway, I guess that kind of rubbed him the wrong way, but all that had preceded that. That was before all that, you know what I mean? That Despy was still alive, because Despy was there at that time. But anyway, back to the dream. So I was around Sleepy. He was playing video games, and I was trying to tell him about the rapture. And tell him, like, look, man, you gotta get right for the Lord. You don't want to miss the rapture. So I was trying to get that message to him. And yeah, so I was telling him, and then after that dream, the Lord took me to my ex, and it was like, actually it was part of the same dream. Like, the setting was like I was still with my wife, so it was like it took me back to that scenario to where I was still living together with my wife, and she was like in the bedroom, but it was still present day, and she knew that I was like playing video games with Sleepy and trying to talk to him about the rapture, and that Despy came to warn me to tell him about the rapture, because he couldn't get through to Sleepy. I guess he'd been trying to get through to Sleepy too, through the dream world or whatever, through dreams, and tell him about the rapture, and Sleepy wasn't paying attention. It wasn't clicking with him, so he wanted me to tell him. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go tell him. And he was like, no, I want you to physically go tell him. And I'm like arguing with Despy, like, I'll do it here in the dream world. I'm not gonna track him down in real life and go tell him. So I know that he was kind of bummed out about it. But, you know, I'm doing this video, and so I'll tag him in it, and maybe it'll play out the way it needs to. Just phone about to die. So anyway, in the other room, I seen my wife there, but I know she's my ex, right? So this dream has got layers to where it's set back in a time to where I was still with my wife, and I was still cool with Sleepy, to where I could invite him over, we could play games and kick it and do music and smoke, things that we normally would do, right? Because I would always do that. I'd always invite my friends over, like, man, just come kick it for the night, you know, man, like, because I had the basement, and it was furnished, carpet, I had the bar down there, and had all the video games set up and everything, you know, so they could come over, and it was like their own little apartment, you know what I mean? Like, there's a sink down there and everything, you know, and so that was kind of like the setup, you know what I mean? And but it was like another room, so I don't know if it was the basement or not, but either way, so I was, you know, talking to Sleepy about that, trying to tell him about the rapture, and like, look, man, you just need to get right for the Lord. You got to stop smoking, stop fornicating. You just got to honor the body that the Lord gave you, and just be still, you know, just wait it out, stall it out, man. Like, there's no rush. Just remember that Satan's time is up, and he's getting everybody to rush, feeling like they need to do things now. They need to get these things down. So I know all of humanity is feeling this sense of urgency, you know, like, oh, I don't got enough time in the day. I got to go do this. I got to go do that. I worked all day today, and now I only got a couple hours to do this, and I got to make sure I can go exercise, and I still got to go run these errands, and then I got to get this done. And I got to get, so everybody, all humanity is kind of like going through that, right? So I knew that was what he was going through. And I was just trying to tell him that he was super relaxed and chill. So it wasn't like he had a sense of urgency. It was just that he was just doing what he wanted to do. It was just like R&R, relaxing. I'm smoking. I'm playing these games. I'm talking to this chick. And it was just all worldly surface stuff. Nobody was focused on the Lord, you know? And so I was trying to talk to him and get him on track. And he wasn't receiving it, you know? He was really more involved with the woman and the video games, and the woman mainly, it seemed like, you know. The video games was, if I had to give a percentage, it was like 90% on the woman, maybe like 50% on the video game, and, you know, just surface stuff, nothing major, you know what I mean? It wasn't focused on God. He was just focused on his life and just being comfortable and living it the way that he wanted to live it, and he had enjoyment out of, you know, doing what he wanted to do. And it didn't seem like he had a job or anything like that. You know, it seemed like he was comfortable wherever he was at. It wasn't like he needed to work because he was up late, and so late that it was early. You know what I mean? It was like 3 or 4 in the morning, something like that. And he was just late night chatting with this girl, smoking weed, and playing video games. So I was trying to give him the message or whatever. And then in the other room, I seen my ex, and she was like sitting on the stool in front of a TV, and she's just saying that she was so, I don't know how to put this without, you got to be careful how you word things, because you don't want to implement thoughts into other people's minds to where they go off and the branches in their head connect them to other thoughts and get them to go off the wrong path. But she was focused on some dude. She just kept saying, Jose, like she wanted to be with Jose, you know what I mean? And she was smoking. She was smoking weed. She was sitting in front of the TV, and I could tell, like, she was dressed in like a lingerie, and she had her makeup on and perfume. And so it was like she was waiting on Jose, and she really wanted this guy Jose or whatever. And she's just like, I got needs, and I'm about to just do me. So that was her theme, you know what I mean? And I was like in between rooms. It was like, because that's kind of how it would be, like, you know, when I was living with my wife or whatever, you know, and I had company over, like, I'd like run upstairs or run into the room with her and smoke a blunt with her, or, you know, spend 5 or 10 minutes with her, then get back to the company, or go back and start making music. So that was kind of like what was going on. It was like, I'll come and talk to you for a few minutes, but I live with you. I'm going to be around you all the time, but I need to go and you know, not ignore my company because I don't want to be rude to them. And that was kind of the energy at my house with my wife, because I was always entertaining guests, and I was a drug dealer. So I always had my attention on everything else but her. And then when I did have my attention on her or whatever, you know, if we were watching movies or going out to eat and stuff like that, it was just routine. It wasn't like it was really anything extra special. It was just, you know, bonding, catching up on her, seeing how her day was, talking about what was going on at her job or whatever, or things that we wanted to do or make plans for. So it was kind of like that. But since I know that I'm not with her now, and she's been in multiple relationships, and I've been abstinent and just focused on the Lord, I could see that she was focused on relationship stuff. You know, she was focused on, you know, sexual stuff, you know, I'm just say it. And it's actually kind of sad, you know. I kind of felt bad. I kind of felt sad for her, that I felt sad for both of them, that they just didn't get what I'm getting from my relationship with the Lord, you know. And I understand, like, my relationship with the Lord supersedes everything. Like, I don't care about nothing except making my Father in heaven happy by trying to save humanity. I don't know. I just don't know if anybody gets that, But there's just bigger goals and objectives here. You know what I mean? Like, this time here is short. It's kind of like an interview and an application process. And like, I had an interview the other day, and I know the lady thought she was interviewing me, but I know that the Lord actually put me there to wake her up. And she asked me so many deep questions that I was just shocked that she was just asking these type of questions. They didn't really feel like they had anything to do with the job, you know. And she was saying things like, give me 5 adjectives that describe this, and give me what do you think this job is really about, and what do you feel like you're going to get out of this job? And it was just like, I don't know, I just don't ever really remember having like questions this deep, like, about a job interview, you know. And so I just gave her me, you know what I mean? I just told her, like, do you feel like this is going to be a career? And I'm like, lady, I'm 42, you know. And she was like 60 something. So some of the questions I was kind of irritated with, and I was trying to just tell her, like, I'm tired, which I was tired because I only had like 2 or 3 hours of sleep. But I know the Lord told me, like, you know, that was for me, and she's going to be thinking about that over and over and over again. Because she was like, yeah, once all this happens, I'm going to get the vaccination, and then I could do this and do that. And I stopped her and I'm like, hey, you know, just so you know, I ain't taking that. I ain't doing that, you know. And she's like, no, you don't have to. And then like 20 minutes later, she was like, yeah, and then every week we get tested twice a week from Heartland. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to do that either. She's like, so that you're saying you don't want the job? And I'm like, yeah, I'm not getting tested, and I'm not taking no vax. I'm not doing none of that. So she was kind of upset, but I knew in the end, she on a deeper level, that, you know, the Holy Spirit was going to be, those seeds that I planted are going to be rotated in her mind over and over and over again, because we're talking about her salvation here, and nobody is to get the mark, you know. But they got these campaigns online, the news, you know, they're like, oh, these religious people, they're giving us a problem, and we can't combat it on a social media. And so now they're going to the television program, and they try to program people to thinking that Christians are the enemy and we're the problem. They're just setting the stage to, look, they know the rapture is about to happen. The fallen angels know that's about to happen. And so they're prepping and programming everybody, so after the rapture they can say, yeah, it was the aliens, and the second virus is from the aliens that are here, and everybody has to get these shots, or, you know, humanity will cease to exist as we know it. And they're going to push this extreme fear campaign, and the fear is going to hit the world after the restrainers removed. So once the Lord removes the Holy Spirit in the church, that fear is going to be super, super strong and super thick. And people are going to feel this loss of connection with God. And so that great deception will be able to just captivate everybody. And everybody's going to just be so scared because they don't know why they're scared, that they're going to know why they feel this disconnect or emptiness in their heart and soul. And they're just going to do what they're told, you know. And once you don't have that connection with the Lord, and you don't got that faith and that hope there, yeah, everybody going to fall away. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, man. It's going to be sad. And I think that's why it's dragging out right now, because God's trying to really get everybody on board, you know. Like, where's your heart, soul, mind, body, spirit? Where is that really at? Because if it's on all this surface level stuff, then you've already lost, because that's not what life is about. Life is about the Creator being with the creation being with the Creator, and that's just a happy story right there. You know what I mean? It's just like, you know, parents with their kids. As soon as you have your newborn, the only thing that matters is just you and the baby and you, you know. And that's just kind of what this is all about, us being with our Creator, you know. That's the missing ingredient It isn't sex. It isn't drugs. It isn't shopping. It isn't video games. It isn't whatever other hobbies that you're focused on. Basketball, football, soccer, swimming, exercise, making movies, music. It's none of that. None of that has meaning without the Lord. So that's the message, folks. Have a good one. How do you turn this off?